Siman Yud Aleph, Sif Yud Beis. Minyan chute hatzitzis b'chol knaf. Anyway, so the Mechaber says Minyan chute hatzitzis b'chol knaf arba kfulim. The minyan of the tzitzis is that it's 4, but it's doubled over, turned into 8. Vim haisif pasel. And if let's say you add a 5th string, so instead of 8 strings over here, you have 10. So it's pasel. Why is it pasel? So says the Mishnah Berurah, Mishum cover bal taisif. You have a bal taisif. You're not allowed to add to the Torah. The Torah said 4 strings doubled over because it's gedilim. Gedil is plural 2. Gedilim is 4. So you're adding to the Torah. You're not allowed to do this. By the way, the Shulchan Aruch brings down from the Gra. The Mishnah Berurah brings down from the Gra that the Gra disagreed. He says that's not bal taisif. Bal taisif is not adding too many strings. You could add as many strings as you want. You're not allowed to add a different material. So if let's say I add canvas in addition to this, that's bal taisif. Obviously, this would be an example where the Mechaber or Sfaradim and Ashkenazim would disagree. You guys would be very, very against it. But the Mishnah Berurah does say that even if you were to add a 5th string, the second you have an opportunity to fix it, you should definitely fix it because this is not something that's definitely a good thing. And by the way, you should cut them before you put them in. They have a picture over here. Basically, don't have doubled over strings and then put it in and then cut it. Cut it so that it's 4 and then double it over. You don't you could technically put in and then cut it. You don't want to do that, as we'll see in a moment. The Mishnah Berurah has a very interesting halacha that it's brought down from I think it's Api Kabbalah. Yesh l'chatchem b'shinav v'lo b'sakin. You don't use a knife to cut tzitzis. You use your teeth. Use your teeth or plastic. The reason being is because the knife cuts down life. It's like a sword. It cuts down life. And tzitzis is arichos yamim, so you don't want to use something that cuts down life to cut the tzitzis. The Mechaber says in Yud Gimel, Yizar lachtich rosh achutim lasis ches koidim sheyichrach shem karach afilu chulia echad v'kosher afilu kosher echad v'achar chodcham pasul shem tasav lemin asay shari pisel asum. He warns that again, if you put it in before you cut it, and then you start wrapping it around, and then you cut it, it'll be pasul, because that's called tasav lemin asay, which means tasav lemin asay means that you have to have it that it's prepared to do the mitzvah and then do the mitzvah. Over here, it's pasul. It's not eligible. Then you cut it. All of a sudden, the second it's eligible, it's already done. You can't have it where it's the second it's like, the Gemara gives an example. You have to put the mezuzah on the doorpost. You can't put the mezuzah connected to the doorpost, then drill the doorpost to the wall. Because the second you have a doorpost, now you're chayiv, you already have the mezuzah up. It's called tasav lemin asay. Okay, one last halacha, and that is how many of these things do you have? This is the area, by the way, the amount of wrappings and how it's wrapped, that's where the major difference is between minhagim are. So I wear Chabad, which has these what do you call these, like stairways, but it's Sfaradim have it more frequently. We do it every third, you guys do it every single one. Yours is more like that. It's slightly different. This is Api Kabbalah. But the Mechaber says, Yikach daled chutim, you take 4 strings, mitzad zev, dal mitzad zev, yiksha shnei pamim, you tie it twice, zel gav zeh, 2 knots. You take a very long string, wrap it around the other 7. The kosher shnei pams, you wrap it around, do 2 knots. Zel gazeh v'chozer v'korach again. Until you have 5. Until you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way you have 10 knots, and in between of those 10 knots, you have the wrappings. Now, by the way, the reason is because 5 knots is chamishe chumshe Torah, the Mishnah Berurah says, and double knots is 10, is the 10 spheres. Chesed gvur tveres netzachai yisrael malchus, chacham v'ina v'das, chabad chagas nehem. The Api Kabbalah. Then the Shulchan Aruch says, va'arba avirim b'neihem aleim krichas, ein shir lekrichas. The truth is, it doesn't really matter the size. The main thing is the knots. The whole part of the tzitzis that are the knots should be 1/3 of the string. So it should be 1 to 1/3 knots and chulios, and then 2/3 string. That's ideally, that's what the Mechaber says. Now, how many times should you wrap it around? I don't know what you guys do, to be honest with you. This is a very clear case where, at least Ashkenazim, we do not follow the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says, Noigim lichruch ba'aver rishon zayin, the first should be 7, and then 9, and then 11, and then 13. So it's 7, 9, 11, 13. That is definitely not what we do. I'll explain in a moment. Why 7, 9, 11, 13? Because 7, 9, 11, 13, that's 20, that's 33, that's the... he says, Sha'olam kulam mem. He tells it counts, if you count them all together, it's 40. Why? What's 40? What's the significance of 40? Yud ke vav ke, which is 26. And Echad, Hashem Echad, is 39. With the Shem Hashem, with Hashem, is 40. So 40 is Yud ke vav ke, Echad, with Hashem. So that's 40. That's the Mechaber says. Lo ntes v'Mashem mem. B'noigim lasses b'suf kol chut kasher kadeshi yamish yiraso. And this is a minhag that he mentioned before, that at the end of each string they would add a little knot so that it couldn't unravel, which I've never seen before. Now before they used to do it. Yeah, they don't do this anymore. So the Mechaber says again, it's 7, 9, 11, 13. Now we don't do this. Why? So the Mishnah Berurah says about kavanas Arizal. This is by the way, this is one of the. It's not for now. I can give a whole shir on this, but this is the major difference between Rav Avadia and the Ben Ish Chai. The major difference was that Rav Avadia felt you follow the Shulchan Aruch no matter what. The Ben Ish Chai felt you follow Arizal, you follow Kabbalah. There's a set of svarim, it's a beautiful set of svarim called Halichas Olam or Halichat Olam, whatever you want to pronounce it, where Rav Avadia, it's all the times Rav Avadia used to give shir in Ben Ish Chai, and all the times he argued. They have 8 volumes. He got fired. That's the famous story. He was given the job to teach when he was young. He was like 18 to give a shir in Ben Ish Chai by Rav Kaduri. Rav Kaduri hired him. Rav Kaduri had to fire him because he was teaching to old Iraqi Jews. They didn't know who Rav Avadia was. He was 18. He was young, and he was disagreeing every single time with Ben Ish Chai, and it got too much of a balagan, so they fired him. But the reason is because the Shulchan Aruch is very, very bekitzer. Shulchan Aruch, the Beis Yosef was the Gadol B'Yisrael. He was much older. He was in his 80s. In his shul, there was a young man named the Arizal. Now, the Arizal was the Arizal, but he didn't really reveal himself till after the Beis Yosef died. After Beis Yosef died, then the Arizal, then all of a sudden, all his Hanhagis and Minhagim, in front of that Beis Yosef, he didn't want to reveal himself. So the question is, when you have a disagreement between the Shulchan Aruch and the Arizal, what would the Shulchan Aruch say? The Chida and the Ben Ish Chai feel that the Shulchan Aruch would have been Mevatel Das. Had he known the Arizal disagreed, he would have gone with the Arizal. Rav Avadia feels very strong, not like that. No, I think Rav Kaduri, I think he said he was a Gilgal of Beis Yosef. That the Rav Avadia said no, you have to follow the Beis Yosef no matter what. And even today, by the way, the same achlekes lives on between his son and Rav Yaakov Hillel. It's the same achlekes. But anyway, so the Arizal brings up in the Arizal b'shnei ches v'cheinim sachronim. So it's not 7, 9, 11, 13. It's 7, 8, 11, 13. Hushem shel Yud K, V'achach Yud Aleph, B'tzirav Hushem shel Havai, V'achach Yud Gimel, Gematria Echad. Meaning Shem Echad, 39, without the extra one. And that's the minig. Okay, that's I think the minig for sure nowadays. Again, like I said, you see it. The Taimani have their own ones. They have a lot different ones, but that's definitely the minig that I'm aware of. And by the way, just to end off, he brings down that Rav Shlomo Malka's, his was 10, 5, 6, and 5. Okay, it's different, different minhagim. It's all, again, this is all different minhagim. Al Pi Kabbalah, that's amazing difference.